Here we are in Eclipse, and we're going to do some of the practice that we need to make sure we understand how to create classes that extend another class, and how to put methods in them, how to invoke them, all about overloading, overriding, and so on. So I am in Eclipse, and I've got myself a Java project called Lesson 5. Doesn't have anything in it yet. I'm going to create a class that is called, let's make it bank account. So new class, give it a name bank account. Now here's something we've always taken the default on before, but we never talked about it. What's its superclass? java.lang.object. That's the default for anything if we don't change it. And I'm not going to change it for bank account. It's at the top of my hierarchy, which means it's directly beneath the built-in class called object. I don't want a public static void main in this. Create myself a bank account. Now I'm not going to put a whole lot into this bank account. Let's give myself a few variables here. Private string account name, private string account number, private double balance. Let's give it one constructor where you pass in the name, number, and balance. So I'll do public bank account, string name, string num, double bal, and in it I'm just going to initialize my three state variables. Account name equals name, account num equals num, and balance equals bal. I'm not going to put a whole lot else in this. Let me just do public string get account name. Doesn't take any parameters, and all it does is returns the account name. And let's put in a toString, public string toString, string s equals nothing, s plus equals I am a bank account. That's all I'm going to put in it. Return my string variable. Okay, I now have a class called bank account. Perfectly good bank account. Doesn't do much. Now I'm going to create a class called checking account that extends it, meaning that bank account will be the superclass, checking account will be the subclass. So I do my new class, and here I'm going to call my class checking account, but here for the superclass, instead of inheriting from java.lang.object, I'm going to put bank account. When I finish, notice it's created for me public class checking account extends bank account. Now, what's it complaining about? Notice it's got this little X over here. Oh my goodness, what does this mean? Implicit superconstructor bank account is undefined for default constructor, must define an explicit constructor. Huh? Remember when we said you've got to create your own constructors for a subclass, except for one exception? If you don't create one and your superclass has a default constructor, a constructor that doesn't have any parameters, then you're okay. My superclass doesn't have one of those. I'm not okay. I'm going to have to be creating a constructor, and that's going to make this little red X go away. We'll watch that happen in a little bit. But first, in my checking account, I'm going to create a private int num transactions. And now let's create public checking account. So I'm going to create a constructor, and for this I'm going to pass in a name, a number, a balance, and that's it. Just a name, a number, and a balance. Now what do I want to do here? I want to get the name, the number, and the balance initialized in bank account. And then I have to initialize my state variable, num transactions. So how do I do this? I say, hey, superclass, you handle name, number, and balance. Notice the message we add here, the little red X, is gone because I've now got a constructor of my own. And now I'm going to say num transactions equals 0. Let's create a toString in here. Public string toString does very little. String S equals I am a checking account. Return S. Okay. Checking account doesn't do very much. Bank account doesn't do very much. But checking account extends bank account. Let's create something with a main method so I can test this. I'm going to do new class, and let's just call this one bank runner. And this time I want it to put in a public static void main. And in here, let's create a banking account. Banking account BA equals new banking account. And I have to pass it whatever parameters the constructor wanted. It wanted a name, Mr. I. It wanted an account number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It wanted a balance. Oh, I'm feeling rich today. Let's put 50,000 in my account. Okay, I've now got a banking account. As soon as Eclipse, there it goes, it comes back. Now, what's it complaining about? Oh, it says we don't have a banking account because we called it bank account, not banking account. So let's type it correctly. How many of you noticed that while I was typing it and were laughing under your breath? Oh, Mr. Grassi is making a mistake. Yeah, it happens. Get over it. All right, I've created a bank account. Now let's create a checking account. I'll call that one CA, and that equals a new checking account. And I'll pass it a name. Oh, let's see, a different name. Mary Smith. Her account is going to be 67890, and she's not as rich as me. She only has $1,000. Okay, I've got a banking account, I've got a checking account. Can I use them? If I type BA dot, it should tell me all the things I can do. I can get an account name. That comes from bank account. I can do other things that come from my superclass object. I can do toString. That comes from bank account. I can do other things that come from my parent class, my superclass, which is object. So what do I want to do? Let's do a system.out.println BA. That will invoke the toString method. All right, let's run this. I run it, and down at the bottom, it prints out, I am a bank account. Now, let's do system.out.println CA. What will the checking account print out? I get I am a banking account, I am a checking account. So checking account took its toString method from checking account itself. Now, let's see, what methods did I have? Bank account had something called getAccountName. So let's try and get the account name. System.out.println BA's account name is, and I'll put in ba.getAccountName. Now, I'll do the same thing for checking account. System.out.println CA's account name is plus ca.get account name. Okay, will both of these work? Eclipse is not complaining. BA has a method called getAccountName. CA does not have a method called getAccountName, but its superclass does. So these should both work. Let's run it and find out. BA's account name is Mr. I. CA's account name is Mary Smith. Looks like it worked. So we've shown that I can inherit a method in checking account. I inherited the getAccountName method even though I didn't write it there. I've shown that I can override a method. They both had a toString, and checking account executed its own toString, not the one in bank account. Now, let's just do something with overriding. Let's go back into bank account. I've got string getAccountName. Let's do another one, public string getAccountName, but this time I'm going to pass in a prefix string. And now what I'm going to do is return prefix plus a colon plus the account name. So I save this. In other words, if I do getAccountName with nothing, it returns the account name. If I do getAccountName with something, it'll return that something plus the account name. So two different methods with the exact same name. As long as they have different signatures, I'm okay. So here I'm going to execute that by doing system.out.println. I've already got getAccountName for the banking account with no parameters. This time I'm going to do ba.getAccountName, passing in, here is my prefix for BA, and see what comes up. What should get printed out is, here is my prefix for BA, followed by BA's account name. So let's try that. Save the resource, run it. I'm a banking account, I'm a checking account. BA's account name is Mr. I, CA's account name is Mary Smith, and here's my prefix for BA plus the account name. So you've now seen examples of overloading, overriding, creating a subclass, superclass hierarchy, and hopefully this is going to get you started on your programming assignments 9 and 10 once you watch a few more videos. Happy programming.